Well, it's Uncommon Fossil, and we're getting towards rotation time. We still got some time, but New Year means rotation is probably a couple months away. We don't actually have the date for rotation, but end of late March is what I anticipate it being. And so it's time to kind of think about decks that we've enjoyed over the past, and we're going to miss going. I'm starting today with a deck that I find a lot of fun. It's not the best deck, I grant you that, but it's a lot of fun, and that's Sandaconda VMAX. 320 HP is fine. That's kind of what you expect for a VMAX. Gives it 3 prizes, so obviously that's a little risky. But it's got 2 attacks. The main one is the first attack for 1 energy that this deck's digging into, and that Sand Pulse does 60 and 20 to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So Manaphy's a big enemy. We have some things to deal with it, but Manaphy's rough. And obviously, so there's a lot of bets, which is in a lot of decks, and that makes a lot of matchups not very good. But hey, when it's not there, it's a lot of fun. But then we do have GMAX Cyclone for 3 energy. Fighting colors does 180, and then you can move any amounts of energy from your Pokemon to your other Pokemon any way you'd like. So if you think it's going to get knocked out, for instance, you get the energy off onto some other Pokemon, just kind of setting things up for future turns. And what this deck does is a healing Cheryl type deck. And if you're not sure what Cheryl is, we'll get to that shortly. And then the V is decent too, Sandaconda V. Well, it's not, you don't really want to attack with it. You can do Land Crush for 3 energy, does 140, not great. But it's got 220 HP, which is standard. But then it's got Wall of Sand that takes 30 less damage from attacks after applying weakness and resistance. So you're not getting one shot turn 1 with Sandaconda V, really, even with something like a Miraidon EX. So is good, right? That's very important, getting set up. And then keeping this deck simple, a 2/2 Bibarel and 1 Skwovet, right? Bibarel, Nest, Industrious, and Sizers. Draw the 5 cards in hand, and Nest Dash. Shuffle your hand, put it at the bottom of your deck, draw 1 card. Just pairs together well, gets us some fresh cards. Hey, we're going to take some mulligans. We have 7 basic Pokemon, but that's, hey, that's all right with this deck. It sets up, okay, it's how it sets up, I guess it's fair to say. 4 basic fighting energy, that's all we need, fighting energy. So, 10 basic fighting energy, what am I saying here? I'm not sure, but it is 10, as you can see. All right, so told you it's a Cheryl deck, so plays 3 Cheryl. I had 4 at one point, just making deck space, cut a Cheryl, but heals all damage from each of your evolution Pokemon. If you do, you discard all energy from the Pokemon that were healed this way. So we can heal up, basically, we can certainly heal up our VMAXs and our Bibarels as well. And since we can attack for 1, that's the attack we're leaning into, we can Cheryl, get rid of all the damage, lose our energy, and reattach that 1 energy and attack again. So 3 Cheryl hit the supporters here. 2 Boss, obviously just very good. 2 Iono gets us some fresh cards early, which can be important, and disrupts late game. In terms of disrupting late game, Roxanne leading into that, just figuring we may fall behind. Opponent's going to take out some prizes. Once your opponent's taken 3 prizes, it's really good. It does nothing before that. That's the downside. But each player shuffles their hand into their deck, then you draw 6. And your opponent draws 2. So really good for sending your opponent back. This is a 4 path to the peak deck. That is part of how we're going to win our games too. Path, make it so our opponent can't do what they want and need to do. And then 2 Arven, because we play a number of tools, right? Search your deck for an item and a tool. So good there. Also, it is a 4 Battle VIP Pass. We need to get Pokemon to play at the start, so we really want Battle VIP Pass turn 1. We want to go first when we get the choice because we're evolving. But if we go second, we have a tool, an IA trainer like Arven, supporter even, to get that Battle VIP Pass into play. So that's very good there. All right, let's hit the tools since I brought those up with Arven. 1 Forest Seal Stone. Right, Star Alchemy uses a V-Star power ability, and you search your deck for any 1 card. So very, very good there. Also have 2 TM Devolutions, very good as we, obviously it's good against rare candy decks in general, but also we spread damage around, then devolve things, boom. Not only do we make it so they have to rare candy to get it back, but we can knock out the basic if we devolve, and we've put enough damage on the evolved Pokemon, so very good there. And then 2 Vitality Bands. This is the latest card I've added. Your attacks do 10 more damage to the opponent's active Pokemon. Not good, but that 70 damage is important. It lets us one-shot Manaphy if we can boss it up, because Manaphy is very troubling. We do have 2 Canceling Cologne, lets us take out the Manaphy and hit the bench, but also if our opponent plays the single prize Mimikyu, it lets us one-shot that with Vitality Band, Canceling Cologne to shut off its ability, and we take it out. Now that's not, those cards give us a lot of trouble, especially the Mimikyu, but at least it gives us an option against us. We're not completely dead. So 2 Vitality Band has value in that sense. Switching 1 Escape Rope and 1 Switch card, just kind of keeping it kind of basic and generic there. I mentioned the Battle VIP Pass have 2 Nest Balls. That's all I have space for. Obviously, put a basic on the bench. And 4 Ultra Balls. We need to get those evolutions as the game goes on, so Ultra Ball is key. 1 Pal Pad to put up to 2 supporters from the discard pile into our deck. Very good as the game goes on. And let's see, 2 Super Rods. Get back some energies because we're sharing those away. We need to get them back so we can play them. But also gives us the option of putting Pokemon in our deck too. We're at any combination of up to 3 Pokemon and or basic energies from the discard pile into deck. And then what else do we have here? Looks like just the Earthen Vessel, right? Gets us 2 energy, discards a card from hand. Just good. We need to get those energies. So Earthen Vessel has value in the deck too. So that's the list. Pretty straightforward, I think. And let's take a look and see what we can do with the deck on the ladder. All right, hopefully we get a game that shows things off here. Like I said, it's a deck I have fun with. That's what it is. It's a deck for me just to have some fun. I'm not going to say I get to go first. That's good. I don't, I'm not predicting this to be the secret tech deck to beat the meta now. All right, so taking a mulligan, which is going to be common. We got to get used to that. Hopefully we want to get a Pokemon and we want a Battle VIP Pass on our turn. And then we're in really good shape. And ideally an energy, but, since we can attack for 1 energy, energy is okay if we miss energy turn 1. Obviously, for a lot of decks, missing energy turn 1 is crushing. This deck, it's okay. It's because of Sandaconda V's ability to take less damage. Putting that in the active isn't terrible either. So just 1 mulligan. So that's okay. Very nice hand here. Very nice hand here. Okay. I don't know what I'll do next turn. I need to draw something next turn. But I can get 4 basics into play, which is good. All right, so Manaphy, oof. But that, if and I have Canceling Cologne, which is okay. So I want one of you, and I will get my Skwovet into play. If I have energy, if I draw into energy, it's actually a perfect hand to deal with Manaphy because I can Canceling Cologne. I don't have to Cancel Cologne Manaphy, but it does let me spread. Okay, so I get disrupted, but that could be fine. So, all right, that's not great. So, not great. So we'll see what I'm up against. Maybe it's a Lost Zone deck. In which case the Devolution might not be a big factor, but you never know. Manaphy goes in a lot of decks. So, all right, well, Charizard Pidgeot. Not bad. Obviously, I want to get Path in play. I mean, I need to get Bibarel in play, right? That's the big thing. Devolution at some point will be big in this matchup, probably. I need to draw something. Well, that's not what I wanted, so I'm going to get a Skwovet. And we hope, right? At this point, Manaphy's fine in the active. If they evolve to Charizard EX, all right, well, end turn. Okay, not great. Not great. Right, getting that Bidoof, that Bibarel into play is really important. Maybe it should drop in a 3rd Bibarel. We will see. So they're going to get, so they can evolve this turn, right? I would imagine. I don't know what tool they need per se. All right, Choice Belt, yeah. They don't one-shot me, though, which is the good thing. So they're going to retreat, attack, and they're going to come up short. They do 180 plus 30. So they're doing 210, which is not enough. And I do take 30 less damage. So we'll see what happens. It's not ideal though, right? I need to get Bibarel is what needs to happen. If I don't hit Bibarel, I'm in a ton of trouble. But with my tool, with the tool, I'd be happy with the tool this turn too. So Arven. Okay, so how do I work this? I want to. I'm gonna need this guy, I think, right? The tool will be. I'm gonna devolve them and set myself up for next turn. So I'm going to devolve. I think I'm going to sit on the energy. I'm going to sit on the energy so that I can Ultra Ball next turn. That's what I'm thinking. So I can devolve. They have the energy on already, though. So, which means if I were to get Path and play down the road, all they have to do is they have to rare candy again, though. So they need their rare candy. All they need is rare candy because they have the stage 2 in hand. But devolving 2 Pokemon, 2 rare candies is much better than devolving 1 in that. Okay, so it does 10. Oh, because it's got the tool. Okay, so all right, I can make something happen here. All right, so I will grab the barrel. Hopefully, I stage 2. I take a knockout. I do stage 2 and. Pass to the Peak, and I might just the VMAX. Sorry, it's not a stage 2. We'll pass to the Peak. Okay. So Arven. So I want you, and what am I gonna grab here? I'm gonna grab Forest Seal Stone. Gonna hide the fact that I have. All right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to ditch the Pal Pad. I don't know that we're going that long. I'm going to keep the rope in case they play a stalling strategy, which would make sense. Would make sense for sure. Going to take the knockout here. And I'll just take a peek. I'm doing 60. Get down the path, this is very good. Take out the active, so they're not attacking with a Charizard next turn. They can't knock me out this next turn. I'm pretty sure. All right, got another path. That is good. We'll see what happens here. Obviously, they evolve. They have free retreat. They want to keep the Manaphy there. I mean, rope. And if they don't get another Pokemon, I could rope the Manaphy into the active. Then I need Canceling Cologne. Well, I need my tool, right? And I one-shot the Manaphy, which is still useful, even if I don't hit the bench. They resist me, so actually getting the Pidgey to the bench is actually pretty good. All right, so they're going to probably boss up the Bibarel if they're playing the stall game. Yep, so saving that rope was really good. All right, Gust, that's okay. Now I can rope, and now I can actually make the play that I want to happen here. So I'm going to rope. That's okay. I'll send him up. I want to. At this point, I can't Cheryl, so I'm going to. Let's think. I'll see 3 cards, but I see 5 cards if I Skwovet. So I'm going to Skwovet here. Right? I see 1 with Skwovet and then 4 more with the barrel. Oh, even. Okay. Or I see. Where I can see 5, right? I really would like to get the knockout here. So I'm going to. I need my tool. And 1, 2. Okay. I'm going to Iono here. Oh, I actually have my. Yeah, I have access. No, I have access to my tool with the Forest Seal Stone, but I'd love to keep it if I can. Do I want to play my I'm going to evolve my other Sandaconda. I could search. I don't think I really need to hit the bench, right? 10, 20. No, I'm just going to attack. Just going to attack. Take the knockout. So Vitality Band. I could have searched for the Canceling Cologne, but they might get Manaphy back and play again, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking, in which case, save the Canceling Cologne. Or worst case for me, they play Mimikyu. That one's obviously a big problem. I mean, I can power up a Bibarel or a Skwovet. Bibarel's what I attack. With it's 50-50. It's a coin flip. It does one-shot it. All right, so they bump the stadium. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, this is fine. So I have a switch in deck. I played my rope. The rope was really good because it took out the Manaphy, which I wanted gone. I get Iono. I get 4 cards. That wasn't a great hand anyway, so that Iono's a plus for me there. Okay, I have Path Iono. That's what I'm looking at. I mean, I have game right now. If they don't play anything else, all right. So they got down to Charizard. Okay, which will blow up my. But he needs 3 energy, so he's not going to attack this turn. He's going to take the knockout next turn. So I think I want to get rid of the. I think I'd like to play Cheryl, right? Cheryl seems like the play. So I'm going to Skwovet. And then Bibarel. Hopefully I get a Cheryl. I need energy, of course, as well. All right, well, switch. I mean, I'll switch if not, because they don't blow me up. All right, well, I hit Cheryl energy. So this is very nice. So Cheryl. And I heal my Bibarel as well, so that's a plus. I will attach there. And I will attack. I don't get the knockout, and I still have my Forest Seal Stone waiting to be used. So Path to the Peak is down, which means which shuts down the Radiant Charizard, and it shuts down the Pidgeot EX. So, you know, obviously at this point, if I get a boss, that's actually good because I finish off the Pidgey on the bench at this point and do more damage into the Radiant Charizard. But so looking to get Manaphy back, I'm sure. What else? Let's take a quick peek. Manaphy, and okay, it shows me good. The game's improving. It shows me there's obviously not a game log yet, but at least they revealed those cards. So they're gonna get Manaphy back into play. So this is where now Boss and Canceling Cologne is much more effective now. Now's the time when I can one-shot. They're going to ditch my stadium, I'm guessing. They could get rid of my tool, but probably the stadium. Yeah. If they play, they don't have their stadium, or they would have just bumped that, I assume. Right? They need 2 energies, so do 20 there. Okay, all right. I don't mind that. I really don't mind that. So I'm going to toss down the Path. Just kind of keep going with stuff, right? If I hit a boss, I'm really happy. I don't want to. I was thinking, should I play the Devolution? I thought about that for a minute just to thin things out, but I can grab the boss, right, with my tool. I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab the boss. Just get this game state that much closer to the win. And I want to attach this energy, I guess, to the active. Because they're not going to knock me out, right? So I will just 70, which is fine. Take out the bench guy. They could have got the Manaphy down, and I thought they were, right? Because they got the Manaphy back into the deck. They rotted, and then they played Arven, which could have got the Nest Ball and Ultra Ball for Manaphy. I mean, assuming those were in deck, I assume they were. Okay, we'll see what happens here. If I want to use Technical Machine Devolution, I need to attack with Skwovet or Bibarel. Okay, they're going to toss away my stadium. Again, getting rid of a rare candy. I like that, right? Because if I use my, no, I didn't want to click that. I wanted, so 2 lost to my stadiums. But look, devolve them. All right, well, I just have game here, right? So, yeah, so I just attack for game. So they made some plays, but the plays didn't advance their situation at all. So there we go. Took down a Charizard deck. I've been seeing a lot of Charizard decks, and this deck isn't bad against Charizard, right? The spreading and the devolving is a big threat to Charizard. So there we go. Get a W. Obviously, I got set up better than my opponent and had some fun for sure in that game. All right, hopefully we get another game where things set up for us. The deck's kind of a 50-50 deck with its win rate, which isn't bad for a deck that's really just a fun deck. When it sets up, it's pretty decent. Honestly, look, even when it sets up, there's better decks out there. But as with most decks, if it sets up, you're in pretty good shape. So we'll see what happens. I'd like to go first, but if I go second, it increases my odds of Battle VIP Pass. So we take it. You know, we work with whatever happens for us, right? So opponent gets to choose. If we go first, that means they're attacking. All right, I get to go first, so that means they're attacking turn 1. That's what I assume that means. So I'm gonna. Oh, this is all right. This is a good start. And I have Path to the Peak, which could be good too. All right, they're taking a mulligan. Okay. So the only way they can knock me out is to use the attack that puts what 200 damage on them or whatever it does, right? In which case that's not a great spot for them. I don't have energy. All right, a couple mulligans. Okay. Ring Moon, Squawkabilly. Okay. I'm a bit surprised that they put it in the active, I gotta say. Maybe I should have held off. I should have played Nest Ball first and just looked. All right, let me take a peek. So I have 2 VMAXs. So 1 is prize, but 2's all I need. Okay. Obviously not going to get a Battle VIP Pass this game. Have all my paths here, which is good. I'll attach and play that. End turn. So, you know, so they played Squawkabilly, and you know, which I don't love for them. Look, it meant they couldn't. If I roped, I had control over what their Pokemon was potentially in the active slot, which you know they weren't. I wasn't going to donk the Roaring Moon. I'm not sure why they want it in the active. It needs to be on the bench to get a Dark Patch to it to attack. Okay, so Penny, which is good, right? It puts a basic and all attached cards into hand, and obviously the Roaring Moons, right? It does 200 damage to itself, which means it's very vulnerable on the bench at that point. So, okay, I don't really at this point. Unfortunately, I'm going to Skwovet it and hope, unless my opponent does something. Okay, I mean, all right, I need to get my IRO. I got the VMAX set up, so that's good too. I will, you know, and I'll do the extra damage at this point. Might as well. No, I'm going to wait on it because it doesn't help me. It doesn't help my numbers. So I'm just going to make this play here, and I hope, right? In a sense, I see 2 cards per turn with this. Okay, well, that's... I wish Incense was in format with a deck like this, because when you Skwovet, so they resist me, which is why they sent him up, right? So I would have done 10 more, but again, if they play Manaphy, that's really when I want him. Okay, so they're going to put, all right, I mean, I don't know if that was the best use of Penny, because now they're not attacking this turn. Okay. So I'm going to sit on this because I have access to Bibarel next turn, right? That's the deal. I could have 10 more damage on if I had played the Vitality Band last turn, assuming they didn't get rid of it. They'll probably get rid of it. They would have gotten rid of the Pass to the Peak the first turn if they could have. So, you know, they waited. Well, the Squawkabilly doesn't get replayed because it can't use its ability again. They can attack with it, but they don't want to do that. So I'm not sure what they're doing. I have access to Bibarel next turn as things sit. So they can attack. Look, they can blow me up too. They can blow me up, but that's, you know, they can blow me up back-to-back turns and win the game that way, quite frankly. Well, no, if they use their frenzy gouging, they just lose the game at this point, right? So, but they can bump the stadium. They do 200. Okay, they're gonna probably bump their stadium. Okay, so they're gonna two-shot me, which means I could Cheryl. I need Cheryl and I need energy, right? I have access. They haven't played a stadium though, right? No. So we'll see what happens here. I have access, like I said, to Bibarel. That's my play. I don't, you know, I'm not sure if I want to use Pokestop or not. I don't. Just trying to think what cards I could hit with it and what cards I would discard with it, right? I don't hit the Cheryl that I want. I don't hit the energy. Those are the two cards I'm going to need. So probably it doesn't make sense to play it, I'm thinking. But let's see what they do. They're not in a great spot. Like if they knock me out, they lose the game. That could be their exit strategy, right? If they instead of conceding, they might just attack, knock me out, knock themselves out, right? I mean, if they had someone on the bench, it's actually a viable option because, okay, so they just chose not to attack, which I get that. I do get that, and they conceded. All right. So anyway, I was set up there. The deck was. So it's been setting up, actually, with this latest set of changes. I've honestly put more time into this deck than in one sense it's worth competitively. But like I said, it's a fun deck, so give it a try. I encourage, you know, if you like a deck like this, look, if you don't own the cards with the way the live economy is, don't craft it. I mean, what's the cost here? It's over $1,000 for the VMAX, and you have to craft the V as well if you don't have it. So I would, you know, it's fun. Unless you have a ton of resources, don't craft, you don't have it. But, you know, if a deck like this appeals to you and you have ready access to it, give it a try. You can let me know other suggested builds for it below. I tried it with Arceus at first, which had, honestly, it wasn't any better than this. And then I've changed around once I went to all Sandacondas. For the Full Multi-Prizers, kind of switched the list around a couple different times. So let me know any changes you have, and if there's other decks you're looking forward to playing before rotation, you know, let me and everyone else know in the comments below as well. Have a good day playing some Pokemon. Take care.